Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and this amazing video. I'm Aditya. In this video, we will see how to create a color palette from the image. So we'll upload a logo or some image and from there we'll create a color palette that will be displayed over here. And this will be done using Laravel, Inertia and Vue. So without any further ado, let's begin. Okay, so we have the same project that we use for Inertia server-side rendering using Laravel. Or in Laravel. So if you haven't checked that video, please do check that video. I'll put the link in the description below. So what we are having now here is the same project with Tailwind integrated. So I just integrated Tailwind in this. And for the front end, there is not much. So I'll just quickly show you what's on the front end, won't go in detail. The mostly thing is on the back end or in the PHP side, because we'll be using mostly the plain PHP or vanilla PHP, though it's inside Laravel, or vanilla PHP functions to find the pixels, colors, or the colors in that image. There are libraries to do so, but we'll do it from scratch. So on the front end, we have a simple app page or a root page where we have two components, color detector and color palette. Now, color detector will be nothing but a simple form which has input type file, then a button to process, like the process button to just send the file to server, and where there are any errors to display. So that will come from Inertia form helper. So if you don't know about it, I'll definitely recommend to have a read on this documentation for some Inertia inside forms. There is Inertia form helper. To give you a brief idea of it, it takes out lots of complexity of sending data from client side to server side in Laravel project if you're using Vue or React or Svelte in your Laravel project. So generally you will be making an Axios call there. You need to send the CSRF token, then the headers. And if you're sending the file, then in that case, you also need to set the content type as multi-part form data and create the form data and all those things. But with Inertia form helpers, all you need to do is just create, or it will have in Vue, it's also in React. So for Vue, there will be a use form helper. Now this is just a composable function which will give you a reactive object. In that you specify the initial values. So as we have just one value to bind, so here we just have image. So in this case, we'll just say image as null initially, and then we have the post method in that. So there are various methods. So post, get, put. There is patch and delete. There is, or you could say straight away form.submit and the method, the URL, and the extra options. So we will use the form.post method, and then there we have the URL, which I'll show you how it is linked with the backend, and just one option over here, which is on success. So what to do when our form is successfully submitted, or if the data is processed successfully. So that we will have over here. And also it catches the validation errors that Laravel throws on validation error. So validation exception. So that's all is catched automatically. We don't need to set like form.errors.image equal to some errors that we generally set with Axios. But here we don't need to do that. Here we just say, okay, we have the errors back that comes with the form helper. In that there is a separate errors space for image. Wherever there is an image error, you can just simply displayed over here. It sets it, but to clear it, we have to clear it by ourselves. So here I need to do something like form dot errors dot image equal to blank once there are no errors. Now in the color palette, so as you could see on app.vue, there is another component color palette which take props as colors, which will come from this color detector. So whatever colors are detected, we will pass over here through app through props. So it will come to app, then app will pass it through props again to color palette, and here we'll just simply render all those colors. Like there will be divs, and each div will take the background of whatever color it is, like whatever index in that colors array is. So suppose if we have three colors, white, blue, green, then we will have three divs, each with white background, blue background, and green background, and also a span tag just to show their hex value, because these colors will be in hex value. So we'll be converting the RGB value into hex value. So that's all we have so far. Now next thing is, now that process route is connected through web.php. So here we have the root route where we render the Inertia app component. Then again the process route, which is a post request, there we call the process function inside the inertia test controller. Now here we need to return a Laravel or inertia response. So here I'm going to say redirect back, something like this. So why I'm returning this, because if you are using inertia helper or inertia form request or inertia request in general and sending data through them to your backend, then you need to return an inertia response or some Laravel response, else it will throw an error saying that inertia request was considering to receive inertia response but got plain JSON response, something like that. So plain JSON response, it won't take in, it will just display the data in a dialog box. So to avoid that, we just send the the Laravel response or the inertia response. Now if we want to send the data, there is a separate mechanism for that, which is share data. Okay, so inertia share data, or this share function in the middleware of inertia handle inertia request. There you can pass the values that you want to share from backend to frontend. I'll show you how to do that when we come to that point, but before that, let's validate our request. So I will say request image, because that's what we are passing from the front end. So here if you notice, we are passing form.image, so image, and here I'm going to say it's required and it is of type image. Now these are Laravel validators. So required means this cannot be nullable. Image means its MIME type should be the PNG, JPEG, or any other image type. So if you pass PDF or some other file, it will throw an error. And you don't need to say if this goes wrong, then throw an error, etc., because this will automatically throw an error and stop the request or stop the flow of program here only, and it will just return back to the client. If this goes well, like if there was no validation error, then we go to the next part. Here we say colors. Now I'll write a separate helper function or helper class to detect the colors. So I'll call that class as, first let's create the class. So inside this app, I have created a helper folder. There I will create a new file, detect. Now this class has only one task to do, is to detect color from whatever image it has passed. So that's why I've named it as like that. So PHP and then namespace, so we can import it correctly. So here I'm going to say namespace app. Now next thing we need to do is class detect. Okay, now first thing we need to do is we can write a constructor here. So I'm going to say public function construct, and now this constructor will take in the file that we have passed. So here I will say image file, and as it is coming from wherever the object is initiated for this class, we need to take here a public property so that we can assign this file or this image file to our public property. So here I will take public image file, and then I will say $this image file equal to $image file. Okay, now suppose if this was image over here, then I will call this one as image. Okay, so this refers to something that is being passed when you create object of this class. So now next thing we have the public function detect. Inside this we will detect the colors. Okay, so let's save this and let's initiate it over here. So I'm going to say, now if I need to do it in one line, I will say new and then detect color from image. Then as it expects the image file in the constructor, so I'll pass it over here, image, and then run the detect function. Now first thing we need to do is we need to get the size of that image. Okay, why we need to get the size? Because we will be iterating through each pixel. We will find which color has maximum pixels covered, and those will be our top 5 dominating colors. Okay, so we'll just be showing 5 colors in that palette, not more than that. So first thing we need to do is, let's say get size equal to get image size, and then here I will pass the image, this image file, okay, which will be set automatically once the object is created. Now next thing we need to do is, okay, we got the image file, then we need to create this image. Now this is a file object, okay, but we need the image data or image object. So what we need to do is here we will say image create from. Now we have several options. We can create from JPEG image, we can create from PNG image, but what we want to create is we want to create from all types of image. So we will just say from string, okay, and then inside that we'll say file get contents this image file. Okay, now let's see what do we get when we first diagram this size, $size, and then we diagram $image. Okay, let's go over here, let's save this, and let's go back over here and let's give it a try. So choose file, let's choose my logo, so I'll choose this logo. Okay, it says, oh yes, we didn't import that, so let's import this so we can use process. Great, so this is the size. You will see like it shows us the width and height. So we just need, so we have, in short, we have a matrix of 600 by 600. It also says the MIME type of that image, so it's image JPEG. And then if I uncomment this, so going back over here, so if I comment this or remove this actually and just see what we get on image. So if we go back here, we will get the created image object, which is nothing but the size of 600 by 600, and it's a true color image. This is important because if this is not a true color image, then we need to handle it differently to getting the colors from that image. Now, next thing we need to do is, okay, we have the image. Now we just need to say, okay, how many colors we want. So here I will say the color set size is 5. We can have it any number of size, but for now let's say 5 colors, and this is our color set, which will be a blank array initially that we will be returning from here, color set. Perfect. Now let's iterate through each pixel. Okay, so I will say for $i equal to 0, $i less than. Now first for loop for the row and the other for loop for the column. So size of 0, $i plus plus. Then another for loop. So you can just copy this, and instead of I, we will call it over and say. So this will be j, but instead of size of 0, it will be size of 1, because now we have 600 by 600. Other image could be 480 by 640, something like that, or 640 by 480. So we just need to do as per the matrix, like row and columns. So this is good if your image is of small size, like 600 by 600 is like 360,000 of pixels, which is actually good number for this for loop to run as well. But if you want to have it run faster, I would suggest increment this by a stepper count. So here we can say we want to increment by 4. So we'll skip 3 pixels or 4 pixels at a time and just take each 4th pixel. Okay, so 0th pixel, then we take the 4th pixel again, then the 4th pixel again, then the 4th pixel again, and so on, like each 4th pixel. Okay, sorry, 0, 4th, 8th, 12th, 16th, something like that. If you want to have it more efficient, then you can take the histogram. Then histogram will give you the actual, not just the color set, but also it will tell you which color has what numbers of pixels covered. So there are a couple of options to improve the efficiency. For now, let's just increment this by 4, and then next thing we need to do is, okay, so we increment this by 4, then we first get color at each pixel or each point that we are specifying here. Okay, so here I will say $color index will be image color at, so this is again a plain PHP function. So this and this, they're all plain PHP function. So here I'm going to say I want the image, so this is the image, I want the image color at for this image at ith and jth position. So whatever is the color index, just return it back. So if I do diagram for this, let's say color index. Now if I show you which logo I'm trying to use. So this is the image I'm trying to use. As you could see, like the dominant color here is black again. So let's go back over here and see if we are getting 0 for black. Yes, that's great. So first pixel is black. Now let's see the RGB value of this. So here I'm going to say RGB color. Here I will say image colors for index. Okay, so this is the color index we got. Now in this image, for this color index, what is the RGB value? This will give us the RGB value. So now if we diagram this RGB color, there it is. So we have the red, green and blue. So red, so as we know, like all the colors in computing, they are mostly, or all the pixel colors, they are mostly like they are done through these three colors only, red, green and blue. Apart from this, like these three colors, there is no other color. So these three colors are used in certain balance to create any color you see on your screen right now as well. So alpha is nothing but the opacity. So you can make a color transparent or opaque as per this alpha. So it runs from 0 to 1. So let's go back again over here and let's remove this. And now we need to convert this RGB color to the hex color, because we need the hex color on the front end to be displayed. So first I will show you how we can do it, like how we can convert each RGB value into the hex color. Then I will show you how we can spread it or make it not the same color but can have like a different colors. I'll show you what I mean. So here I will say hex color, then I will use simple sprintf function. Okay, now what this is gonna do is it will just, whatever we pass in this, it will create a string of it and store it in the hex color. So we don't want any just normal string, we want like a proper string. So we want the hex format. So what we are going to do is here we will show the, or we'll pass the format. So I'll just show you the first bit of the format, because this 4 characters will be repeated 2 times more, so it will be 3 times in total. So percentage means starting point of the conversion. This 0 means the padding number or prepending digit to complete the minimum number of digits, which is 2. So and X is hex format. So what we are saying here is, okay, we need minimum 2 digits in our conversion and it should be in hex format. And if you cannot form 2 digits, make it a 2 digit using 0 at the left of it. So for instance, suppose if we have 0, just 0 like this, then it will be 0 in hex. Now if I want to make a 2 digit, then I will use 0 0. So this extra 0 over here, this extra 0 is coming from this 0 over here. So we are just padding an extra 0 to make it like a 2 digit. So if I take RGB value of, let's say RGB 0, 0, 0, in hex it is 0 0 0 0 0 0. Now each 2 digits in this hex string, which is 0 0 0 0 and 0 0, is equivalent of red, green and blue hex values. Okay, so in RGB it's integer value, here those are hex values. Okay, so that's done. Next thing we need to do is, okay, so we have the hex color, then sprintf, yeah, and then we just need to repeat it twice, because we once for green, sorry, red, then for green, then for blue. Okay, and then we say here RGB color red, RGB color blue. Perfect. Now this will be our hex color. Now we want to put this color inside our palette. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll create another array over here, which will be palette, $palette, and whatever the hex color is, if this is set, we have already, if we already are having this color inside our palette, then increment that color value by 1, so that we know, okay, these are the number of pixels for that color. So here I will say increment plus plus, else we will just start it with 1. Okay, now after this is done, at the end we need to sort this. So I'm going to say sort this in descending order, so AR sort, and here we just pass the palette. Okay, and yeah, so this will sort our array by keeping the most dominant color at the top and the least dominant color at the bottom. Okay, so let me show you what it does. If I diagram this $palette, let's go back over here, process, there it is. So you'll see the most dominant color is at the top, and then all of the colors are coming one after the other. So now let's pass this color to the front end. So here, as we are taking first 5 colors, so how we can take the first 5 colors from here? Well, we just say for each palette as $key and value, because we just need the key, we don't need the value. The key is the actual color over here. Now our color set size is 5, so we will say if $color set size equal to 0, then we break this loop, whatever is the color, and then we decrement our palette size. So sorry, color set size minus. Okay, now let's see what we get. So from here we go to our inertia test controller, then we pass the colors here. Now how to share this with our front end? Well, for that again we go to our handle inertia request, and here we pass the key value pair. So this is under middleware, and here we pass the key value pairs that we want to share with the front end. So inertia has its own data to share with the front end from the back end. With that we will merge our own data as well. So here I want to send colors. This is nothing but a function. We can write arrow function like this, and this is gonna nothing but request session get colors. So whenever we set colors key in that session, that will be returned over here through this function again and will be set over here. So what I'm gonna do is this semicolon is not required. So going back to our inertia test controller, here I'm gonna do, okay, we received the color, so then session colors $colors. Okay, make sure that this key always matches with this session key. Now if we go to our front end in color detector, I just console this console.log data. So if I go back over here, refresh this page, and then show you in the console. So let's take this logo, let's process. So here you will see we are getting the colors inside the props, there is colors, and then there is an array. So this we need to pass it. So now what I'm going to do is I will say here colors dot value will be data dot props dot colors. Okay. And then once this goes from here, we need to emit our detected event. So here I'm going to say emit detected, that could be colors dot value. Here we need to, we are setting the image URL over here. So whatever image we upload, we just convert it to base64 so that we can set the src over here for that image tag. Then it goes over here to detected, then it will run on detect function. Then it goes, takes the colors that are passed, puts in the colors dot value, that goes over here as props. Perfect. Now if we process this, first need to refresh this. So let's take the file again, process. Great. Now you will see most of the shades are of black. So actually there is no much difference of showing 5 colors. We can just show one black color and have it like black or white, something like that. But how we can also create separate colors, or rather somewhat colors similar to these shades. So for that we need to just round whatever RGB value we have got over here. Now this is an extra optional step. Of course, if you just want precise color, so you don't need to do this step, but if you want to have some extra variations, then we need to round those colors. That we will do it now. So first we will round the RGB color red, then we will round the RGB color green and the blue. So here I will say rounded red. It will be, so it will be a round function, then again a round function, and inside this first we will take our red color, so RGB, and there we have red. Now this we divide by a hex number, which is 0x0x33. So this represents 51 in hex format, and then we multiply this by again 0x33. Now if you notice, this is division and multiplication by the same number, so it might get cancelled. Okay, but actually if you notice, we are rounding it over here, so this will give us some decimal value. Now if we round it, so that decimal value could be either taken to the nearest floor or ceiling. So if it's 3.9, then it will become 4. So let's do it for green and blue. So here let's do for green, G capital over here, then we do it here for blue. Here is blue again, and now instead of passing these color over here, we will pass the rounded values. So the rounded, let's see what do we get. So first we had these shades. Now if I hit process, you will see the different shades that we have got. So this is how we could get the nearest different shades by rounding. Okay, perfect. So that's all in this video. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button. And if you feel this video is worth sharing with your network, please do share with your network. Thanks again for watching this video. Till the next time, goodbye.